Generally speaking, are men stronger than women?
Yeah, that's scientifically fact.
On a biological basis, yes.
Sure.
Well, what do you mean, sure?
I'll just agree with it.
What do you? No.
Yes.
But what? Don't just agree. Just
Yes.
because you think it's what I want to hear. What do you actually think?
Yeah.
Does anybody feel like that's not?
Sounds like you just want to argue with her.
No, but I want people to answer honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If that's your honest answer, okay.
Physically.
Yeah, yes, physically.
Yes.
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 Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Men are superior.
Okay. All right. We hit a couple things there. I do actually, still on the war thing, who are the primary, here we go. Who are the primary victims of war, men or women? Who are the primary victims of war, men or women? Starting with you.
If you're talking about like who's fighting, then obviously men, because that's like who's fighting.
Right. Although you could look.
I mean,
Both
depends on how you're
men
posing
and
it.
women can be victims of war, but I'm asking, who's the primary victim of war, men or women? So
I'm sorry, it's late. It's getting loopy.
that's
in
fine.
here.
What about you?
Are you asking a comparative question to say that one has it better than the other?
No, I'm just asking, who is the primary victim of war, men or women?
I don't think that it should be on the basis of gender, but statistically, I think more men die in war.
Okay, so they would be the primary victims then.
I think victim has a certain agenda that underlies it, but
Let's say you're killed. Are you a victim?
what's so funny about that?
Well, I mean,
Just don't worry about it. Okay. go ahead.
Like, yes, sure.
Okay. Do men die in war?
I think that this idea that men are victims of war is kind of funny, considering
Funny.
that
Okay.
it's funny to me because, in my opinion, the perpetrators of the war end up being whatever the gender is, everyone else who is subject to that decision ends up being the people that are victims. I don't think that it's just one sex.
well, he's not saying that like it's just one sex that's victims. Like they can all be victims, but who would be more victim, if that makes sense?
Can I ask you a question? So let's look at World War I, World War II, just within the United States purview of those two conflicts. For World War I, World War II, who were the primary victims of war for those conflicts of the United States population?
On the basis of who died.
So men or women?
I don't know the statistics, but I think that more men died.
Okay. I'm just a little, okay, so you said it was funny that we're painting men as victims when it comes to war. Could you explain that a little better?
I don't know if anyone else wants to speak on this.
I mean, when was the last draft?
Vietnam.
And
So-
how long ago was that?
Well, I'll paint it this way. When it comes to the Vietnam War, there are men that would still be alive today that aren't because they got drafted. And there are men that are alive today that were drafted who have substantial injuries, who were maimed, who lost limbs, who have post-traumatic stress disorder, who developed probably drug addictions because of, either what they saw, who are homeless, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, even today in the United States, I can give you a more recent conflict. If we look at the Ukraine war, for example, so every single woman in the country, if they wanted to, could leave. They could leave the country. They could leave Ukraine. Actually, we got a Ukrainian here. So all men between the ages of, I believe, 18 to 60 or 65, I forget the exact number, no men could leave the country. Most men were enlisted in the war effort, drafted into the war effort. All women could leave. That's an example of a modern conflict where there was a draft. So, yeah.
I hear you.
Forced military conscription, still a thing.
Can I just say one thing?
Go
I
ahead.
think what she was trying to say is the poor man dies for the rich man's war, being that men are still kind of pushing the war and the ones dying. So all in all,
wouldn't
they
that
are
be more,
victim.
wouldn't that have more to do with, it's not that it's a man, it's a rich person So that's not about gender. That's now about class.
Yeah.
So yeah, social economic status. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't want to take away from veterans because I think that I have a lot of respect and I don't want to belittle the sacrifice that they made for their country. I will say, how many holidays do we have to commemorate the men that went to war?
You're right. We should have more.
Wait, what's your point?
I'm just saying you're acting like this is some type of sacrifice that's gone unacknowledged.
Do you think all those men who died, do
you get to take Veterans Day off?
I do, thanks to the men.
But you're not a veteran, right?
I'm not.
So it's not just acknowledging veterans then. Everybody gets to partake.
Yes.
Wait, do you think the
Yeah.
contribution?
Is there a Women's History Month?
And
There
a Pride
is.
Month.
Hold on. Do you think that
Yeah, is there a Veterans History Month?
Is there? No, but it's
No.
not. It's not about quantifying the amount of time that we think about it. Is it really?
Well, I don't. That seemed to be your argument.
That wasn't my argument.
Hey, well, it did seem to be that. But we set aside days to remember them.
My point is that
Isn't that a
I
quantification of
took
time?
it. I took it as it sounds like you were saying that the sacrifice that men make for their country goes unacknowledged. The sacrifice that they are
that's not-
obligated to make.
that's not
Is
my
that, Okay, well,
argument.
what were you saying?
But I'm not sure if like the fact that there's a couple of holidays is. I don't know how that's really relevant to the conversation at hand.
Maybe it's not. I took it as you were kind of suggesting that the sacrifice that men make goes unacknowledged, or that it's undervalued, or that their sacrifice
Does
that they
seem to
make
be undervalued, yeah.
is sure. I think that in some ways it is, but
Yeah.
that it was
Doesn't
somehow
sound like it's very
proportionally
equitable.
worse. Proportionally
Why?
worse.
How come Women's History gets a whole month?
I don't know. I didn't make the rules about why
Do
we
you
get a
think?
whole
Do you
month.
think that Women's History should get a whole month?
I think there's a lot of history there, and the rest of history is man's.
Well, this
Is
was
there? Yeah. No. Well, wait a second. That's weird. What do you mean? Isn't history just history?
Yes. I think that there's history that is relevant to women. I'm
Yeah, but
not
there's
going to
also
sit here
history
and
which
say
would
that
be relevant
Women's
to
History
men,
Month
right?
should or should not exist, or we should just get one day, or if we should get 1 month. I'm not
Is there
saying
a Men's History Month?
no. Why would there be?
Why wouldn't there be? If there's a Women's History Month,
Equity,
it doesn't
right?
sound like it's very equitable.
I don't think that under the guise of equity, men need a whole month.
I don't think
Compared-
under the guise of equity that women need a whole month. What do you need it for?
I didn't make Women's History Month. I don't know why you're asking
All
me
right.
that.
Yeah, I
Hold
know,
on.
but you just said that you would keep it, right?
I don't have really strong opinions on Women's History Month.
No.
I just was
Okay.
born a woman.
okay. So you had issue with me framing men being involved in warfare as them being victims of warfare. Like you said, saying that men are victims of war is a funny frame. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You said it was funny or something.
Originally, I did.
Jeremy donated
okay.
$200. Seriously? 22 veterans each day self-delete. There are 17 million veterans in the history of the USA, and you want to reduce our sacrifice to 2 days per year. Let's go. Let's be equitable.
I would argue that the contribution of the veterans goes well beyond just us now having a couple holidays or whatever a year. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate your message. I'm going to read one more, and then we have a few more chats, but I will get back to it really quick. David says, back $69 BMGA and respect. This is a dating show. Be nice, people, please. I've been to Kiev and dated Ukraine. Question is, Xmas or NYE, bigger deal there? Best to all, grid, crack me up. Xmas or NYE, bigger deal in Ukraine?
I think overall New Year's is, but if you're religious, then Christmas for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And, New Year's is Christmas is actually after New Year's in Ukraine.
Okay. Just going around the table, I don't think I got everybody's answer on this. Who's the primary victim of war, men or women?
Everybody. Children, men, women, everybody.
Or wait, I'm trying to remember if Everybody's, no, but who's the primary victim of war?
Men die more because they're in the front lines.
Okay. So I was just asking you if you had to choose one, because initially you said everybody.
Yeah. I still think everybody suffers.
Big Sass Energy donated $200. As a Marine combat vet who has seen the all the death, for holiday, I'd much rather the women of this country submit and both genders can commit to their biological gender roles. It's inevitable.
All right, Big Sass Energy.
Amen.
There you go. Oh, she agrees with you. There you go. There you go, Big Sass. Thank you, man. Appreciate the message.